Hi gorgeous, it's Ker-leen. Thank you so much for tuning back into my channel. Today I will be doing a comparison video. I'll be comparing the Lattafa fragrance Gharam with the ever popular fragrance Baciami by Bvlgari. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts on these two fragrances, how they're similar, how they differ, then please keep watching. Hey friend, welcome back. I hope that whenever you're watching this, you are feeling good and you're doing amazing. Thank you so much for choosing to spend this part of your day over here. If you're new here on this channel, I talk luxury, I do review videos, I share my fragrance journey like today's video. I sprinkle in a little bit of lifestyle here and there, and in every single video, there is some encouragement for you. So if those sound like things that you would enjoy, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also be sure to turn on that notification bell so you know exactly when my videos drop. All right, let's get into it. All right, y'all, I was finally able to get my hands on a very teeny tiny sample of Baciami. I did not realize the sample was going to be this small when I purchased it, but this is it right here. So we do have it, and we have been testing her out on skin. And of course, as you all know, I recently added Lattafa's newest Gharam to my fragrance collection, and here she is. So we're going to talk about how these fragrances smell to my nose, what makes them similar, what makes them different, and just my overall thoughts on how they smell. Gharam has top notes of pear, pineapple, and tangerine. At the mid, we have jasmine and magnolia. And then at the base, we have praline, we have amber, musk, sandalwood, and cashmere wood. Baciami has top notes of gardenia. It has a vanilla at the mid and an amber at the base. As I mentioned to you all, I have been testing these out on skin, and I'm going to apply them on skin again today to refresh my memory and give you more of my thoughts as I'm smelling these fragrances. So I'm putting a generous amount of the sample on my skin as well. Okay, so the one thing I will say about these two fragrances is that the floral notes are very similar. So the original fragrance has a gardenia, but Lattafa's fragrance has a magnolia and a jasmine. And somehow the florals smell very similar in both fragrances. Now the way these two fragrances open up is different. Lattafa's version opens up with that fruitiness. It's a really juicy fruitiness that has a subtle greenness to it, which is different from how Baciami opens up. I feel like Baciami opens up with the floral accord and then quickly gets sweet and creamy and even lactonic later on in the wear. Whereas Lattafa's fragrance opens up bright and subtly green, and it takes just a little bit before it starts to transform. Baciami definitely develops into a warmer, sweeter fragrance. And although it's not a warm fragrance per se, I do feel like it is a lot warmer in comparison to Gharam. I feel like Gharam is a lot more bright and juicy and fresh and even a little soapy feeling at times. Yes, even a little soapy feeling. So maybe even a little aquatic as compared to Baciami. Baciami doesn't have a fruity opening. It doesn't feel nearly as fresh or as effervescent or bright as Gharam. I feel like Gharam is a lot brighter in comparison to the original. Baciami comes across as sweeter and a little bit warmer. It's more vanillic, and it quickly develops into a vanillic fragrance on skin. So it doesn't waste any time developing from the top to the mid. I feel like it develops rather quickly, and both fragrances are a bit more on the linear side, if you will. I don't feel like they take you on this crazy journey. I feel like what you smell in the beginning is pretty much what you're going to get throughout the wear. However, I feel like Gharam takes you on a bit more of a journey because it starts out one way and then it takes a little bit before it develops into something a little sweeter and warmer and creamier as it dries down. And for me, it really gets creamy on the dry down, whereas for Baciami, it gets creamy almost right away. This fragrance does not smell anything like Maui in a bottle. But The creaminess and almost lactonic essence of Baciami as it warms up on the skin gives me the same type of creamy lactonic sweetness as Maui in a bottle. They don't smell the same. It's just that particular creaminess in both fragrances that's similar. So this fragrance surprisingly is a lot creamier and sweeter and warmer than I expected. In essence, I feel like Baciami is a vanilla fragrance that has a floral undertone. Speaking of florals, the florals in the original Baciami are definitely a lot more subdued as compared to Lattafa's fragrance. I feel like in Gharam, the florals are so much more prominent. The mix of the magnolia and the jasmine are present from the opening all the way into the dry down. And even that subtle greenness that I got when I first received this, although the greenness is much more subdued now that this has sat a little bit, I feel like it's there, and it's because of those florals. The florals are prominent from the opening all the way into the dry down. So this one, y'all, is brighter, fresher, it's more floral, it's more green. It's not a soapy scent, but it has a subtle soapiness to it. It definitely has a little bit of an aquatic nature in my opinion, which is not present in the original. And finally, this fragrance is pretty musky. I think the musk is a distinctive note in this fragrance. It's something that definitely makes it very different from the original, because the original is not very musk heavy in my opinion. If the musk is there, it's not something that is very pronounced to my nose. Instead, the original smells warm and sweet, and you definitely get a mix of that vanilla and amber in the original with a floral undertone. So the floral is there right in the opening for just a little bit, and you quickly get into a creamy vanilla fragrance. Whereas this one is bright and juicy and fresh feeling, a little aquatic, a little soapy in the opening. Then you get those gorgeous florals which carry you well into the dry down when this starts getting a little bit more creamy as well. And while I can't necessarily speak to the difference in performance as far as longevity is concerned, because I don't own a full bottle of the original, I don't even have a sample where I could really test out longevity for you all, I can speak a little bit to projection. So with regards to Gharam, I feel like this fragrance projects very beautifully. I would say that this projects moderately, so at least arm's length distance is what I would say this fragrance gives when I wear it. When I spray it on skin, after several hours and several hand washes, I can still smell this fragrance. Whereas the original is pretty much gone after I wash my hands. That's what has impressed me about this one. It lasts all day long, and it clings to the fabric of my clothes so that when I take my clothes off to put them in the hamper, I can still smell this fragrance. So as far as longevity, it's there in this fragrance, and the projection is beautiful as well. So for my final thoughts on this fragrance, is it a good dupe for the original? I would say definitely yes. I think this is about 93% similar to the original, 90 to 93% similar. And that difference of about 7 to 10% is because this one opens up very different. This one is also a lot more musky, and it's not quite as lactonic feeling as the original. That being said, as this begins to dry down, it does smell closer and closer to the original. So on the dry down, when you put these two on skin, they smell pretty similar to my nose. So if the original is something that is not in your budget, or perhaps you're not convinced that you want to spend that much on the original, but you still want to give this scent profile a try, I think this is a steal. Definitely a steal. However, the original is one I would buy if I wanted to like splurge on myself. I would even put it on a wish list to get as a gift because it is a beautiful fragrance. And like I said, I realize it's more of a gorgeous vanilla fragrance with a floral undertone. So the original is one that I quite appreciate. I think it's beautiful, but is it a must-have in my opinion? No. Is it a lovely fragrance to have in your perfume collection if your budget allows, and if you just have an appreciation for it? Definitely yes, it is gorgeous. However, if you're here, I'm assuming it's because you were wondering how close this gets to the original, and in my opinion, I would say 90 to 93% similar. This is good, y'all. So as these two fragrances begin to dry down, they smell more and more similar. However, there is a distinctive warmth and richness and creamy and lactonic essence and feel about the original that is not present in the inspired version. I feel like Gharam is definitely close. If someone were not studying the differences, especially on the dry down, it would definitely smell like you have on the original. So we have come to the end of this video. If it was helpful to you, don't forget to give it a like on your way out. And if you're here and you enjoy fragrance content, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I make tons of fragrance content on this channel, and turn on your notifications so you never miss another video. So today, friend, I want you to know that I am praying for you. I am praying that you have peace in your heart and peace in your mind. You deserve to have peace. You deserve to have joy. So I pray that you will experience those things this week, and that God will show you exactly what you need to do to experience peace and joy this week. As always, I will be over here doing the exact same thing. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one very soon. Bye! Oh, by the way, before you click off, I want to remind you, I have recently published a 30-day devotional called Align and Reign. And this is a devotional for those of you who are seeking peace and joy, and you're wanting to add something to your daily routine that's going to give you direction and how to approach each day for the next 30 days. If that is you, I think you will really enjoy it, and I think you'll benefit from it. There is scripture, reflection, a wellness practice, and a prayer on each and every page, and lots of space for you to write down your thoughts and journal and answer any of the prompts that are present in the wellness practice. I wrote this and designed it in a way that gives you the support that you need to embrace your identity and your purpose. So check out the description box for the link. It is available on Amazon, and if you have Prime, you can get it in 2 days. Bye!